Alright guys, so now we're going to start to talk about animation in CSS, and there's a few ways to do animations. You have keyframes, which you're going to be looking at now. We also have transitions. Basically, when you animate something in CSS, what it means is you're taking a property that can be animated, such as a width, a position, a color, opacity, something like that, where you have midpoints. So let's take a width, for example. You have 0 pixels, and let's say you go to 600 pixels. Well, there's all the pixels in between, so you can go from 0 to 600 pixels. You can animate that, so you can make something grow or shrink. You also have positions, so you can move things around. You have opacity, so you can fade things in, fade things out, stuff like that. So let's get started with keyframes. So I'm going to create a new file here. I'm going to call it 07_keyframes.html. And let's put in our stuff here. I'm sure you guys are sick of hearing me say that and do this, but I just want to set everything up from scratch. Alright, so keyframes. Now, as far as the HTML, we're going to have a single div with the class of box. That's it. Okay, we're going to create this div. Basically, it's going to be a square, and we're going to animate it. So in the style, let's start off by doing body. I'm going to give it a dark background. Alright, and let's open this up. So we have a dark background, and then for the box, let's make this a white box by default. So background. Okay, we'll make this white. Actually, you know what? Let's use words, because we're going to be animating the colors. So background white. Obviously nothing is going to show up because it's empty. There's no content in it, so that means we have to add a width and a height. So we'll say width 200 pix and height 200 pix and save, and now we have a white box. It's 200 pixels wide and 200 pixels high. Now what I want to do is let's animate the width first of all. So when it comes to animation, we have a bunch of different properties, and then we also can combine them, much like we can with many other properties like border, background, stuff like that. But let's look at each one by one. So first I'm going to do animation dash name, and I'm going to call this animate. Let's do animate 1, and let's do animate duration. Okay, so this is the time that it should take to animate. I'm going to say 2 seconds. All right, now, wait a minute, why is this giving me an error here? It's probably because we didn't create animate 1. I'm sorry, animation duration. Okay. Now this animate 1 right here, we have to create a keyframe called animate 1. So we're going to go down below and we're going to say at keyframes and then animate 1. And you can call it whatever you want. I just chose animate 1. So we can basically specify points in the animation. Now I'm going to do this the simplest way first just to show you. And that's from and to. So we'll say from. So from, we could say like, let's extend the width. So we could say from width 200 pix, and then to, we'll set width to, let's say 600 pix, and let's save. And there we go. So you can see that we get that little animation. Now, since it's 200 pix to begin with, we don't even need the from. Like we could simply say to with 600 pix, and if I save, it still works. Now, there's some other things that we can add here. And by the way, if you want to change the duration like to 5 seconds, now it's going to take 5 seconds for that to happen, for it to extend to 600 pixels. But I'm going to change it back to 2. And notice how it only goes once. What we could do is add in animation dash iteration count, and right now it's set to 1, but let's set it to 2 and let's save and see what happens. So we get 1, 2, and then stops. Okay, now if you want it to keep going, you can use infinite. So I'll save, and it'll just keep going. Now I'm going to set this back to 1, which is the default, and I'm going to add another property here called animation dash fill dash mode. So right now, notice that once it's done animating, once it's done stretching out, it goes back to its default of 200 pixels, right? So what if we want to keep it at that stretched out 600 pixels? We can change this to forwards. Okay, so if we save this, now it's going to animate and it's going to stay where it's at. All right. Let's see. We also have, just to show you some more properties, we have animation delay, which I'll set to 2 seconds. So now once I save, it's going to wait 2 seconds and then it's going to start. Okay, so it's going to delay the start of the animation. We also have animation dash direction, and let's set that to alternate. So if we save that, actually no, let's do alternate dash, or what is it? Alternate reverse. So then it's going to go reverse. So you can do that as well. But I'm going to keep it at alternate. And then the last one I'm going to show you is the timing function. So animation dash timing dash function. And this is basically like the motion. And you could do like ease in, which is going to kind of start off fast and then like ease in, or ease out, which will start off slow and then go faster. So let's look at ease in. And there's not too much of a difference, at least in my opinion. Let's make the duration a little longer. We'll say 5 seconds, and let's watch the motion here. It's going to delay. So it starts off slow and then it starts to go faster, right? Let's actually comment out the delay, but let's do ease out and see the difference. So save and see how it starts fast and then it slows down. And then you can also do ease in out, which will start off slow and end slow. So it eases out and then it eases in. All right, so those are the different timing functions that you can use. Now, obviously width isn't the only thing we can animate. Let's do color. So let's say we want the color, or I'm sorry, the background color. The color would be the text. So we want background color, and let's set that to red. And we'll go ahead and save. Now, not only is it going to extend to 600 pixels, but it's going to turn to red. Okay, it's going to go through all the whole color system, and it's going to go from white to red. Let's see, another thing we could do is its position. So let's give this a position of relative, because remember, when we add position relative, we can use parameters like top, bottom, left, right. So what I'll do is say from top 0, so basically its default position, and then 2, we're going to end up at, let's say from the top, we want to go down 300 pixels. So let's save, and now you can see that it's animating the width, the color, and also the position, moving it from 0 from the top down to 300 pixels from the top. Now, like I said, there's a shortcut for this, so we don't have to have all of these different properties. We can simply use the animation property. So I'm going to uncomment the delay, and I'm going to comment all of these out. And I'm going to show you how we can do this with just one line or just one property. So we're going to say animation. First parameter here is going to be the name of the animation, so animate 1. Second is going to be the speed, or the duration, so we'll say 5 seconds. Next is going to be the fill mode, so I want it to stop at the end, so we'll do forwards. If we wanted a delay, we could do that. We'll do a 1 second delay. And then we can do the timing function, so I'll do ease in out. Okay, so let's save that. Waits a second, and then it does the same thing. Okay, so this is just a shorter way to do all this stuff. So that's it. In the next video, we're gonna still look at keyframes, but I want to show you how we can add different points. We don't have to do just from and to. We can actually use percentages in here, and we're gonna make an element move around the screen a little bit at different points. All right, so I'll see you in the next video.